Morning welcome, thank you. Can I have this every Saturday morning, please, when I come into my house?
Dilly.
Yes.
So nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you so
We were
much.
just chatting in the green room about how Sort Your Life Out sits in the very narrow Venn diagram overlap of things I like watching and things my children like watching.
Yes,
There's hardly anything
yeah.
that fits in that space. It's such a sensation. Why does it work, that show?
I think because every one of us can relate to it, can't they? It doesn't matter what size your house is, what your background is, who you are, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, whether you're a grandma, a granddad. You look at that warehouse and you all sit there and go, imagine if that was us. And you all go, well, you've got more shoes than that. No, I have not. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've got more toys than that. You've got more, clothes, whatever it is. Oh, you'd probably have 500 books or 20 wooden spoons. So I think it's so relatable. And I think that's what has made the show work so well.
There's a real warmth to it
Yes.
as well. That's the thing. It doesn't feel like we're judging.
No.
I mean, we're slightly judging at the beginning. But it doesn't.
But in a really soft, fun
Yeah,
way.
exactly,
Yeah, in a funny way.
When you're tackling the warehouse,
Yeah.
do you already know when you go in? Because typically you do the second day after Stacey's been moderately
You mean when
successful
we
on the
start
first
on day 2?
Yeah. Do you know where you're going to begin when you go in there?
I think we sort of do. We sort of have obviously when I walk into the warehouse day 2, I'm always like, oh my gosh, what's happened? And I mean, there is always my very natural response to that. When I walk in, I generally do think, what have you done, Stacey? What did you actually do yesterday? Because this warehouse is still very full. So we always try and tackle the biggest areas first and go, right, let's try and make it that we can go through the hardest area and then the rest of the day is quite easy or, easier. Let's break them first of all.
This is Dilly's book called Change Your Space. It's been out for a while now, but I've only just read it. You can see my post-it notes and things I need to do. Decluttering matters. It
Yes.
matters to you more than just because you like things to be tidy. Tell us a
Yes.
bit about how you ended up being what you are.
So I grew up in a very chaotic household. I grew up with a mum and dad who spent their whole life working, and I said I'd never be like them. The house was the bottom of their priority list. And in the whole time that I lived in our house, they never redecorated, they never bought new furniture. It was always, the same things. And till when I moved out, when I was 19, I think, when I moved out of home, the wallpaper was still the same. The only thing that changed was my bedroom. And, back in the 90s, we all had that, that lovely pine solid furniture, didn't we? And the only thing I had in my bedroom that was new was this pine furniture. And I remember every week I would be changing it around because the rest of the house they didn't care about, but my room was like my little sanctuary. And because my mum and dad worked so hard, they didn't spend any time on the house, and it got quite chaotic. And I didn't like that. I hated the mess. And I had these lovely neighbours across the road who basically became like my second parents, and they had 3 boys, and I was like the daughter that slotted into the middle of this family. And their house, I remember, was, I don't know if any of you ever remember, obviously Laura Ashley was huge back in the 80s and 90s, and she had paid, which was so fancy, to have someone come round and do interior design in her house. And back then it was like 50 quid to have someone from Laura Ashley come in and design your rooms. And every room was designed by Laura Ashley in her house. So my house was this chaos, and her house was this beautiful Laura Ashley designed house. And I used to go there, and that was my calm. So their house was the calm, my house was the chaos. And I very quickly realised what I liked, and I realised, I was like, when I grow up, I am going to have cream carpets. I'm going to have cream carpets, yellow sofas, Laura Ashley going to come round and they're going to design my house. Everything's going to be pristine, and her kitchen was organised and the wardrobes were all, they had everything together, and my mum and dad didn't. And so I thought, you know what, and because they looked after me so much, because my mum and dad were always working, I always had to, go to someone's house after school, and my neighbours would look after me a lot. And because they never paid, my mum used to say, Dilly, make sure you tidy up, help her tidy up. Help her clean up, help her do this, help her do that, because we're not giving them any money, so make sure you do something. And so I'd be like, okay, I was like, do you want me to help you do your wardrobe? Do you want me to help you clear out the kitchen cupboards? And she'd be like, oh, okay, you can do. You don't have to do that. And I'd be like, no, I love it. And so as well as doing my own house, I used to help her do hers, and that was my love language. And I always think cleaning, tidying, organising is my love language. We've all got a love language, haven't we? And for me, that is mine. And I feel like, when I met my husband and he'd just lost his mum, My love language was, I can come and help you. Let me clear out your mum's house with her. You know, let me come and do that. And whenever any of my friends are ill or something's not right or someone's in hospital, I'm like, let me go and sort your house out. What can I do? That is I want to help you. And it just developed. And I thought, when I leave school, what I'd like to do is help people organise their houses. And that wasn't a thing. And I always had these ideas of grandeur, isn't it? Where for some reason, I always only ever wanted to work for the CEO of a company. I was very much like, I'm only going to work for the person who owns the company. That's what I'd like to do. How can I look after him? Well, there wasn't such a thing as a professional organiser back then. There was no such thing. There wasn't a career, there wasn't a service, there was nothing. You had housekeepers. In very wealthy houses, wealthy areas, you had a housekeeper, you might have had a PA, you might have had a nanny, you might have had a chef, but you didn't have a professional organiser on tap. So there was no such thing, but what there was a personal assistant. So I thought, right, when I leave school, I'm going to be a personal assistant and I'm going to work for the CEO of a company. That's what I want to do. Now, I wasn't that bright at school. I got an E in maths and then I retook it and got another E. And so I was like, Mum, I told you not to send me back to university, to college. That was a complete waste of a year. She's like, and my dad was an accountant. How embarrassing. So it put a lot of shame on my family, the fact that they were very brilliant and I wasn't. So I retook it, and then I retook my maths, failed, and then I thought, right, I'm just going to go and try get a job, and blag my way into this job working for as a PA for 3 sales directors, and did all admin. So I loved that side of it, but I thought, I still want to, do other things. And I left the PA role, and my friend said to me, I'm setting up a business, tanning and beauty salon.
Are we okay?
I was just going to keep going as a professional, but I will wait.
Is everybody all right?
Everyone okay? Is it me? Am I talking too much? No. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Hello. God, now I feel like I need to sing. You don't want to hear that, trust me. I left the job working as a PA to these 3 sales directors. My friend said to me, I want to set up a tanning and beauty salon. I think you'd be great at running that for me. And I thought, it's a bit different. I'll do that. I'll be like the manager of this salon, and that seems quite fancy. And there wasn't anything like that back then in the area I grew up in. I grew up in Shepperton in Middlesex, and there was no tanning and beauty salons in Shepperton High Street. And I thought, well, I know everyone knows me. It'd be a great place. It'd be like a little friends hangout. So we created this amazing salon that was just like a friend's hangout, and it was in the days when there were sunbeds. That's very naughty, but there used to be sunbeds. That used to be a thing. And so we had a tanning and beauty salon. I learned how to Saint-Tropez. I can do a good Saint-Tropez tan, airbrush and cream. I learned how to wax, eyebrows, do Jessica manicures, pedicures, all sorts. But I ran this amazing salon, and of course, all these women used to come into the salon and have their nails done. And I used to be, in my 20s, I was always all over the place. I was always going to different clubs, different restaurants. So I was a bit of a concierge service for all these women that used to come in. They used to go, oh, what's the best restaurant in London at the moment? I'd be like, oh, you need to go here, you need to go there. And I was like, I really need to do this business. I really need to do this, organising business. And I've got all these wealthy women coming in and having their nails done. And so I thought, right, do you know what? I had £1,000 in savings in my bank account. And I thought, I'm going to spend that on the most beautiful brochures. And I'm going to go round all the more wealthiest houses in my area, and I'm going to put them through the doors on a Sunday. Because on a Sunday, I knew that the housekeepers didn't work, the PAs didn't work, no one worked. The owners had to, God forbid, they had to go to their letterbox and open up their mailbox themselves. They had to get their Sunday papers, but also they could, get a bit of marketing. So I spent 6 months going every Sunday delivering these beautiful hand-tied brochures. I've still got one in my attic with these pink ribbons. I mean, I've never seen marketing like it. It was still amazing now when I look at it. And I called myself Perfect Me. And Perfect Me was the company that will perfect you. And it was a concierge service, and I would organise anything that you'd like, from your admin to your taking your kids to school, whatever it was. There was all these different, your wardrobe, styling. I could do it all. So that's what I did for 6 months. Marketed all the wealthy areas in Wentworth, Virginia Water, that area, and I eventually got a phone call from a client. And I also had these women that would come into the salon that knew these women on the Wentworth estate, and somehow they'd talked about this brochure they'd got through the doors, and it all connected. And then I had this one client who rang me up, and he said, I'd like you to go and help my wife get organised. And he said, I'm buying you as a present. It sounds a bit weird, but if you could turn up on her birthday and say you're here to organise, that'd be great. So that's what I did. I turned up on her birthday.
Did she know you were coming?
No, did not know I was coming. And I knocked on the door and I was like, hi, I'm here to help you organise. And she was like, oh my God, this is the best present ever. And I then ended up living with them for 4 or 5 years. I became not only their PA, but I was their everything. And they were the most incredible family. And obviously, I was working for them. I started off doing their admin. And then I'd be like, do you want me to organise your kitchen? She'd be like, oh, yeah. Do you want me to do your bedroom? Yeah. And then obviously she told all her friends. And then literally, here we are, 25 years later.
Now, Dilly,
Thank you.
I love the determination. I
Yeah.
love the ambition, the vision, the
Yeah.
work ethic. I'm really interested in it. It comes through in the book, and you see it on the show. You're this really interesting combination of really tough and really gentle.
Yes.
And in the book, it's the same. There are sentences. I don't know if it quite says it in so many words, but there are sentences that go something like, "If your house is chaos, you're the problem." Words to that effect.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot about, this is why it might be that way, and helping people think through how it's all sort of started to unravel and get on top of them. Just talk to me about that combination of why that's what is needed if you're going to get set again.
Yeah.
Clear.
I think when we're looking at our homes, it's so easy to pass blame, isn't it? It's so easy to say, it's my husband, it's my partner, it's the kids, it's the toys.
It's the house.
It's the house is the problem. But when I say it's our fault, everything stops with us, and everything starts with us, everything stops with us. We are in control of what we buy, aren't we? We are in control of what comes into our house. We are in control of what we spend. We are in control of the presents we buy our children this Christmas. We are in control of the clothes that we buy every week, the things that we buy on Amazon. So yes, it is our problem, and if you want things to change, then you have to look at your spending habits. When I go into people's houses and, reorganize them, I never just go in and go, yep, that's fine, we'll clear all of this. I'm always, of course, they never get away without a pep talk. I'm always like, what we have to think about is what you are buying going forwards. It's all very well clearing your cupboard out once, but if you're going to continue to bulk buy, you're going to continue to buy your kids 15, 20 toys every birthday, then there's always going to be more. If you're not doing anything about the things coming in and the things leaving, then that's when clutter starts affecting you. And when clutter starts affecting your relationships, that's when things have to change. And now that relationship might be with yourself. You might be living on your own and drowning in stuff. You might have a family that, can never find the cereal, they can find it, but it's in a cupboard, full of other stuff. You can find the spices, but they're out of date. There's 200 of them in the cupboard. You can find a black jumper, but it's because you've had to pull out everything out of your wardrobe to get to that black jumper. You want to find a suit for what you're wearing to work the next day, but you're sure you had that suit and you can't remember where it is. But is it in this wardrobe, or is it in that wardrobe, or is it under the bed, or actually you have got it, oh, you haven't got it, so let me go and buy another one. We do that all the time. So we have to take responsibility for our own actions, and we have to understand that actually the reason the clutter builds is down to us. No one else is spending your money unless it is someone else spending your money. Is someone else in charge of everything that comes into your house? Because we have to take ownership, because otherwise things don't change. So you have to have some responsibility. It's all very well having these books and having these guides and having these shows that are teaching us what to do, but if you don't change your habits and you don't change the way that you spend, nothing will change.
When you're talking to people, the ones we see on the show, and I'm guessing the ones that you work with in your as clients and with Declutter Dollies, how are they always ready to let go? There's the classic example is, there'll be a mum and she's got every baby grow, every muslin, everything, and her children are 25. Yeah. But you can see that it's just so painful.
Is this your story?
No, I'm the other way. It's all gone. But how can you tell? How can you get someone to the point where they're ready to go?
I think, by the time someone gets me in, they're serious about it. So that's the good thing. But with any of my team, whenever we go into a house, most people are ready to go. I think when you call in a professional with anything, you're ready to go, aren't you? You've tried to do the electrics yourself. You've tried to, unblock the toilet
Don't do the
yourself.
electrics yourself, ladies
And then
and gentlemen.
you've realised, actually, I need to call a plumber. Actually, I need to call an electrician. Actually, I can't do any more of this DIY myself. And booking an organiser is no different. That's how we have to view it. So if you have been struggling with your house and you're wondering how to get on top of it, it's probably because A, you've not done it properly. You've started, you've not finished because you thought, oh, actually, this Saturday, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clear out my wardrobe. And then you start and someone goes, should we go for a bit of lunch? You're like, oh, lovely. I'll come back to this. And you never finish it. So that's what happens. We don't commit the time. Time is very important with anything organisation, anything decluttering. It's about committing the time to it. You can't just say, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes doing this. You can do that in bite-sized chunks if you think, okay, there are challenges that you can do. You can do a little 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. But in order to make serious change, you need to commit the time to it. So it's very important that, when people have a professional organiser, when you have someone that comes to help you, you know that the job is going to get done. So most people, when they do book me, they are ready to make a change. And in the warehouse, they're ready, they want to make a change. But of course, I do go into some houses where people are reluctant to make change. But I think when you have someone standing next to you that's holding you accountable, that's saying to you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to support you, it helps you think, okay. And remember, whenever we're decluttering and organising, I think people are so scared at thinking, oh, she's going to come round and you're going to get rid of everything, and oh, I'm not ready to get rid of this. I don't want you to get rid of your baby's baby grow, but I don't think you need to keep 25 of them. I want you to keep the first of everything. And it's about identifying the things that we love. So it's never just about looking at, getting rid of everything. It's deciphering what is good and what isn't. And when you start looking for the things that you love, you realise the things that you don't. And that's when things change. So don't always look at it as a negative, like I've got to get rid. Think, what do I love in my house? Go around and find the things you love and separate those things, because then it will be really easy to identify the things that you don't. So rather than think, I need to get rid of everything, let's see what I hate in this house, think of what you love, and then it makes it easier and you're not feeling so nervous about getting rid of so much stuff.
I was really taken by the bit in the book, and it comes up a few times, about adapting the space itself.
Yes.
Because in your house, you've done a lot of adapting.
Lots
Your
of
mum lives
adapting. My
with you,
husband
not
loves me.
anymore, but she did for a long time.
Yeah.
And like we said before, quite often you blame your house. My house is too small. I've got 3 children and 2 bedrooms, and it's all just a nightmare. And I'm just going to read one of the things of the because you're encouraging people to have really difficult conversations.
Yes.
This is in a section where they're saying, if you're in a house that you're trying to make work and it doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
The example being when more than one person works from home and you both need a space to, you both need a desk. Question number 1 is, whose career is more important to them?
Yeah.
Or are they of equal importance?
It's a really tough
I
question.
mean, that is a really hard conversation to have.
It's a really hard conversation to have. And especially all of us know what lockdown taught us, don't we? And there will be so many of us that had relationships where you both had to work from home. And suddenly you're like, well, hold on a minute. Who's going to have the spare room? There's only one spare room. Who's going to have the bedroom? Who's going to take priority over the kitchen? Who's going to have the home office? If there is a home office, suddenly we were sharing this space, and it was so hard. I mean, there's so many divorces that came out of lockdown. There really are. And when I say clutter affects your relationships, it really does, because there were so many houses where people in lockdown couldn't work out who was going to have what space, and it is really hard. And I think as men, as women, we all have that conversation, don't we? Who's important? Whose career is more important? It's not about that we had that conversation. It's almost the elephant in the room, isn't it? Whose career is more important? I need that room because I need to take all my calls and no one can be there. Well, I need that room because I need to focus and I need time and I need to, So it's a really hard conversation to have with your other half or whoever is in the house, to go, who needs this space more? What is it affecting? Who can't do their job properly because of the space? But what you find is that so many people aren't using their space effectively. They're not using the spare room properly. They're not using their bedroom properly. They're not using their office properly. The kitchen. There's so many spaces that we can adapt around our house to make work. So if you're thinking we're on top of each other, is there a space that can change? Is there a space that you're not using? Have you got a spare room that's got a bed in it? and people come and stay over once every 6 months. You know, if you really need that to be an office, then get rid of the spare bed, make that room an office. You know, if someone's a personal fitness instructor and they need to have a gym at home, then make it a gym. You know, think about those spare spaces and think who really needs that space and how is it going to affect their career. If not, do you need to build another space? Do you need to convert somewhere in the kitchen so that you can have an office? But I think the thing is, you know, we just don't. We try and make do with what's there, and we don't have that vision. Vision is the single most important thing you need when you are trying to organise, when you're trying to declutter, when you're trying to think about what you need to change. So if your front room isn't working for you, why isn't it working? If your bedroom isn't working for you, why isn't it working? If your office spare room isn't working, why isn't it working? And what do you need from that space? So you have to think, right, I'm fed up of working downstairs in the kitchen because, you know, the kids are always running around and actually I need to take calls and it's, you know, however. So, but the spare room is just a dumping ground. So if you really need that space to be your office, then make it your office. Have that vision, because once you have that vision, you know, like a vision board, once you've got that vision and you've said, right, I need it to be an office, I need it to be a gym, I need it to be a yoga room, I need it to be an arts and crafts space, then hopefully it will push you to make that, you know, make that space work.
There's sections in this book that gave me the feeling. When I was pregnant, I read that Gina Ford book. Did anybody read the Gina Ford book? And it made me feel really, really calm, because it just said, every minute of the day, it gives you the instructions of what you need to do with the baby. The baby will be asleep now for 3 hours, and you will do this, and then nothing.
No.
But this book gave me the feeling of having decluttered my whole house just by reading it. This is a page 88. 10 quick wins. Number 1. Match up all the Tupperware lids and containers in the kitchen cupboard. Oh my God.
It's a tough job for everyone.
I would love that so much. Number 3, gather up all the toys that aren't where they should be and put them back in their tubs and boxes.
Yes.
Love that. Number 4, clean out the cutlery drawer and put everything back in designated sections.
Wouldn't that be dreamy?
Oh my God. Is your house like that?
Absolutely.
Is it?
I promise you. Unfortunately, I have to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure. Like, even last night, I had a dinner party for my birthday, and I've never had a dinner party in my house before like this. And I had this amazing woman come round and cook. And obviously, she knows what I do. I know her well. Yeah. So, you know, I'm like, oh my God, she's opening every drawer.
Under pressure. And
I'm like, oh my God.
This could be a career-ending moment.
This could be career-ending. But she was like, oh my God, it really is. Look at that. Oh my God, your spice drawer. I was like, yes, thank you. Yes, I know I've only got 6 tins in my cupboard. Yes, yeah. I mean, I have very little in my house.
And what about your husband and daughter? Are they tidy? Ish.
Ish. I mean, my daughter is 11 and she's an 11-year-old, but she is very, very organised. She is, you know, she makes her own bed every morning before she goes to school. Her drawers are all got drawer dividers in them. You know, if she needs any organisation, she's like, Mummy, I need some organisers to sort out my pens and pencils, or, you know, I need to separate my underwear. So, I mean, and she is, I'm quite strict. As you can imagine, I'm quite tough. I'm firm but fair parent. But she gets nothing, and I say nothing, without her room being tidy. Like, if you want some Roblox, then you need to reorganise your wardrobe. You know, you want some toys, you want that jumper that costs 60 quid from, you know, wherever it is from, some ridiculous shop that they're all shopping in. You know, you need to go and refold your jogging bottoms. Like, you need to fold your underwear drawer. You need to rehang everything so the hangers are the same way. Like, I need order in that room before I'm even going to think about buying you anything. And she's like, okay, so she'll go upstairs and she'll do it. So she knows that she does not get anything without doing something. Wow. So she doesn't just get, because I think, you know, kids are very privileged nowadays. A lot of our children, you know, they ask for something, they get it, you know, but I'm very much like, no, you don't get something unless you do something, you know, and you have to help me. You have to help me. I'm not the only one that's going to do everything in this house. So I can't look after your room as well. So you can look after your own space. You know, I mean, I let her fold and hang and do things, and then I might go in there and go, ooh. She actually is very, very good. She knows her hangers have to be in the same direction. She knows she can't have an odd velvet hanger amongst all her plastic or something like that. She knows that, you know, the jogging bottoms have to be folded a certain way, and everything is in order. But it's so important we teach our children that, because, you know, what we have to remember is children from day one, you know, from day one of nursery, they get taught to put their peg and their coat where their name is.
Yeah.
And that is the order that they start learning from a very young age. When it's tidy up time, we might play a song and they know that the toys go in one bag, box, the pens and pencils go in another pot. They know what order is, and that goes all the way through school into college. So they know what order looks like. So there's no reason that they can't have that order at home. So whatever they're learning at home, they can also have whatever they're learning at school, they can also have at home. So it's very important that we teach our children from a young age. Why is it important? Because those children grow up and then they soon become someone's husband, someone's wife. So like me, you might be married to somebody that has had everything done for him by his mother. So, Charlie is very good. We love Charlie. But Charlie still might, put his trousers or his jeans just, 10 inches away from the washing basket. It might just not make it.
Yeah.
And his clothes, when he comes back from work, might still be on the floor unless I put them in the washing basket. And, he will not fold his pants like I like them done. He will not put the washing away. I have to do all of those things.
Yeah.
But obviously I do them because I like to do them.
I find it tough with my grown-up
It is
children
hard.
because I hear myself saying every single day to my son, "What's your plan for your cereal bowl, Sam? Like, what's the plan for that?"
Yeah, what are you going to do with it?
And then he does move it,
Yeah.
maybe not all the way into the dishwasher, but closer.
Yeah.
But I hear myself saying it again and again. I'm like, so boring. How do you get them to kind of,
Do you know what? It is really tough. But structure is really important and order is obviously important. So if I tell Nellie to tidy away her clothes, if she didn't have a wardrobe, for example, where's she going to hang her clothes? If she hasn't got the right amount of storage to put away her jogging bottoms, her leggings, her pants, socks, vest, then she's not going to be able to put them away properly. It is going to be chaos in her drawer. If she has got clothes all over her dirty clothes all over the floor, and there's no washing basket, then I can't blame her for not putting her clothes in the washing basket. So structure and order is very important. So you can't blame your kids for having their clothes all over the floor if they haven't got a washing basket. You can't blame people for doing things if there isn't the structure. So number one, you have to make sure the structure's there. You have to make sure you've got the right tools. You have to make sure you've got the right storage, because there's so many houses I go into and their kids haven't even got a wardrobe. They've just got their clothes in a drawer. So, of course, and they've got no organisers. So, of course, they don't know where their school shirts are, where their socks are, where their pants are. They're struggling to find things because it's just everything's been shoved in all manner of things. So it's very important that your kids have the right things and that you have the right things and you have the right structure. Obviously, you have a dishwasher and that's easy to put your bowl away. That's harder, to get that type of thing away.
I wonder if it's because I can't hack it being out. So in the end,
the problem is
I will just move it.
Yeah. Well, we get bored, don't we? Because we get bored of asking 200 times, can you do this? So you just do it yourself. Yeah. But I think it's very important that, your kids see what you do as well. Yeah. It's learnt behaviour, isn't it? Yeah. It's very important that they see what you do on repeat and hopefully they pick up your good habits. But also in that same breath, it's very hard if they see your bad habits, because if you are leaving your bowl out overnight, if you are not putting your plate away, if you are not picking up your clothes off the floor, if you are not putting things away beautifully, why would they? Because they are only watching what you are doing. So it's very important that whatever we do is a good example. So if your husband doesn't want to, organise his wardrobe, but you do, at least you're showing him, look, this is how it can look. It can look beautiful. It can look neat. And then maybe eventually he might want to do his wardrobe. But if he doesn't want to, then, you have to just go, he doesn't want to. What can you do? You can only lead by example. And if someone doesn't want to follow, they don't want to follow. You can only push them so far. But just make sure that you have got the right tools, you've got the right storage, you've got the right structure. Because if you haven't got those things, then it makes it hard for some people. Some people literally need you to tell them, this is where you put this. That's why labelling is so important. Maybe some people do need labels in their houses. That's why it's good to go, this is where your school uniform is. This is where your rugby shirts are. This is where your football socks are. This is where the DIY is, the tools are. So it's easy to see. Some people need that order.
I do remember going to university, and some of the people I met at university, and this is going back a long time, had never cleaned a toilet. And they just didn't know how to do it. That's wild to me.
One of the things that I would love to do and that I'm championing for and that, I'm gearing, doing my best to, is go into schools and teach children how to look after their homes. You know, because so many of us, it all falls on us, doesn't it? And I think, you know, none of us learn how to organise our homes, you know. And I'm talking about, it's almost like we're going to go back into the ages, you know, where you had Norland nannies and where you had lessons of how to be a housewife. You know, very Martha Stewart. You know, you had lessons on how to look after your home. But actually, that's gone missing somewhere. And we don't know how to look after our homes. You know, the amount of houses, like I said, you know, I go into, and people haven't been taught that. They haven't been taught. They don't know how to hang their clothes. They don't know how to fold their jeans. They don't know how to fold a T-shirt. They don't know that actually, you know, your kitchen can flow. And if you put your pans by the hob, then it's going to make things easier for you. If you put your spices, your oils and vinegars around where you're making and creating, it's going to be easier for you. You know, look at the flow of your kitchen. Look at the layout of your kitchen. If you do things properly, then things are going to be easy every day. Organisation saves time.
Have you ever been defeated?
Never.
Never.
Of course I haven't. Look at me. I am steely. Never. There is no job too big or too small. No, absolutely not. How dare you ask me that question? I am not defeated in anything.
Never.
But in life, I'm not. Do you know what? I'm just not that type of person.
Yeah.
I just am not. Nothing phases me. In fact, the worse it is, the better it is for me. The better I look. Because I'm like, great, I'm going to turn this complete chaos into a beautiful, organised sanctuary. And that's what I love most. You know, the worse that house is, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I am going to turn this around. So any house that I go into and I think, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh my gosh for a second, but I've already thought, I know what this is going to look like. I know the end result. And that's very important because I've got that vision. And that's where not everyone has that vision. You know, I have that vision when I go into a chaotic room, a chaotic house, a chaotic look at a chaotic drawer, whatever it is. I know that in so many hours, so many days, this is going to look amazing.
What about some of the things we forget to declutter? We can not think about wardrobes is obvious, kitchens is obvious, but in my laptop, oh my God.
Digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it get there?
Yeah, I mean, how does it get there? It's because you subscribe to too many emails, number one. So on Mondays, I do a thing called, you know, unsubscribe on a Monday. And it's very important that we have a digital detox because so much comes in, doesn't it, into our inbox all the time, especially now, Black Friday, all of these sales that are coming up. It's very important that we just think every Monday when you're on the train or when you're just, you know, waking up in the morning or whatever you're doing, spend 5 minutes unsubscribing because so much of our inbox is emails that we don't need. We all know where to find our favourite brands from. You know, I know where my favourite shops are. I do not need a reminder every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to go and buy stuff because I know exactly where those shops are. You know, so if there is an offer on, you might think, oh, but I'm going to miss an offer. You know, you're not going to miss an offer. You will know, you know, just keep checking back. So, and that is what encourages our spending as well, isn't it? Because we're constantly reminded. Another thing that I do, which is a really good test, is something called the Saturday test. So on a Monday, if you think, oh, I'd really love to buy that leopard print suit that Dilly had on at Good Housekeeping, I'm going to put that in my basket. I'm going to buy it. Now, just think, can I wait till Saturday? Now, if you can wait till Saturday and not buy it, then on Saturday, hopefully it's still in the basket or hopefully it hasn't sold out. That's the only problem. That's the only downside to this is if it's something that's, you know, you might not get. So if it's not, can you wait till Saturday? And if you can wait till Saturday and then purchase it and buy it and still love it, then you really wanted it. But if you can't, then did you really want it? Because you might have got to Saturday and completely forgotten about the leopard print suit. So if it's in your mind and it's consuming you and you're like, oh my God, I'm thinking about it, I need it. Because it's so easy, isn't it, to buy things? It's so easy. You could be sitting here not really paying attention to me and thinking, and buying something on Amazon, and by the time you get home, it's there.
It'd be so much better if you've made yourself wait as well. So much more satisfying when it's
so much more satisfying when you think, actually, I really want that.
Yeah.
You know, you wait and you wait and you wait. And it's like, you know, obviously at Christmas, you might think, I've been waiting all year for this thing to happen, or I've been waiting all year to buy this thing, or I've been saving my money for this thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just trying to slow down those impulsive, instant buys.
Christmas then, last few minutes. Couple of pre-Christmas decluttering tips because more clutter's going to come.
Yes.
What should we be doing now in the middle of November to get ready for that?
So if you've got children, of course, go through their toys with them because Santa's not going to bring them any more toys if they don't clear out what they've got. So it's very important that we clear.
Very big decluttering.
Big decluttering.
Santa.
Very big decluttering Santa is not going to be happy. But I'm, you can imagine I've been using that for 11 years, that line. Santa's not going to buy you more toys. But I think it's very important, isn't it? Because on Christmas, look, I buy my daughter whatever she wants like anyone else does. That's what we do as parents. I don't do all this hard work for nothing. I want her to have everything because that's just how we are as parents. We want to give our children whatever they want. But we also have to make them realise that these things cost money, and they can't just have things all the time and nothing leaves. So they have to go through their things and think, right, it's very important that we teach our children to donate. It's very important that we teach our children that there are other children out there that don't have what you have and that need your stuff and that would love your stuff. They're not as lucky as you, and they're not going to get brand new toys. They're not going to get brand new clothes. So therefore, I would like you to go through your toys, go through your wardrobe and think of a lovely basket and get a lovely charity basket, and we're going to take it to the children that really need it, and take them to the charity shop with them. Don't let them just put in a bag and not see what happens to it. Sometimes it's really important that you take your children on that journey, that you get them to fill up a basket, you take them to a charity shop, you teach them about the charity shop that they're going to, Save the Children, whatever it is, and say this, or, however it is, or take them to a hospital and donate toys. Hospitals need donations of toys, of things, nowadays as well. So it's just important that you take them on that journey and you teach them about decluttering. So toys are number one. I think your kitchen is very important. I think your kitchen is very important before Christmas. Why? Because when Auntie Ruby comes round, she can't find that glass, she can't find the mixing bowl, she can't find the spatula, she can't find this, she can't find that, then it makes you feel better that you're not stressed that people are in your kitchen, because how stressed do we get when we got all our family in the kitchen? They're like, where's this, where's that, where's this, where's that? Like, why is this? Oh my God, look at your cupboards. I think it's quite nice to feel in control of your kitchen. So I think a kitchen is somewhere, because we're going to be entertaining, we're going to be cooking, we want everything to be nice and ordered, so that when it does come to Christmas Day and everyone's helping us, or all of those lovely parties that you're going to have at your house, or entertaining that you're going to do, it's nice to have that order.
Do you cook at Christmas?
My husband cooks at Christmas.
Oh, well done, Charlie.
Well done, Charlie.
Poor old Charlie got a bit of a bad rep earlier,
He
but he's
did,
got to do the Christmas dinner.
Charlie got a bad rep, but Charlie is the cook in my house.
Is he good? Is he
And
good?
in fact, my beautifully organised spice jar says on the jars, Charlie's Kitchen. It does not say Dilly's Kitchen, because he was like, don't you dare put your name on those spices. That is not you. That kitchen is all me. I'm like, okay. Even last night when this lady came round, he was like, did you have to ask, shall I tell you where the oven is? I was like, how dare you?
Oh,
how dare
so
you?
rude.
How very dare you. I don't use the oven, I use the air fryer.
What's on your Christmas list, Dilly?
What is on my Christmas list? I'd like to go away. I always like a holiday, so I save my money and I'm like, right, I don't need things. I've got things. I think experiences are always the best thing rather than things. We can all buy each other things. I think it's lovely to go to the theatre with friends, to go out for dinner with friends, to go away. That's my type of thing to do at Christmas.
Where will be your next holiday? Where do you fancy?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I'd like to go back to Sri Lanka. I haven't been for a long time.
Yeah.
I haven't been since I got married. So I'm sort of debating, do we go to Sri Lanka for Christmas?
Oh, this Christmas?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure. Or, maybe May half term or somewhere like that. But
And when do you start shooting more Sort Your Life Out?
well, fingers crossed. We have to vote for that. We have to pray that they let us have another series.
Surely they'll let you.
This could have been the last one. We don't know.
Oh, no.
Oh, I hope not. We need more of you. Like, can you contact the BBC, please? And beg them?
Yes. We'll all write a strongly worded open
Yeah,
letter.
can we start a petition?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we need it to continue, but yeah, let's hope so. I fingers crossed. I feel like everyone loves it, right? It's such a great show.
Absolutely.
I think it's one of those shows like DIY SOS that can go on and on and on.
Yeah, totally.
It just needs us all to be there, like when we're old and raggedy. Oh, we can do this.
What house would you love to declutter? If you could go into a big famous house, where would you go in and declutter?
Ooh, whose house would I like to go and declutter? Oh my gosh, whose house? Someone like Richard E. Grant.
Oh.
I love him so much.
Do you?
Yeah. I love his travel programs.
Yeah,
and I think he's
a
so
very
much fun.
gentle energy about
Yeah,
him, doesn't he?
I don't know. There's something, and he's got a really lovely story, and
Yeah.
he's a really well-educated, well-travelled. I love interesting people. Like stuff to me is just stuff. I don't need to go to the Beckhams. I'm not interested in organising his pants, or am I? I'm.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, I mean, if I have to, I will. But yeah, I'm not that type of. I'm more about just. you know what? I just like helping people. Like I said, it's my love language. It's what I've always enjoyed doing from when I was a kid to now. If I can help someone, so for me, it's about helping someone that needs my help. I want to help people that have been through a situation and they can't get out of it, and I help them get out of it. That has always been the thing that keeps me going. That's why I still do what I do 25 years later. That's why I still go out and do my day job. I work with my team still. The TV stuff is a bonus, but what means and matters the most to me is being able to help people change their space, because it's, I did it for my mum who was unwell, I did it for my family, I've done it for my friends, I did it for Charlie when he was in need, and I continue to do it for families that need help. So for me, that I couldn't ask for any more, and it's all I've ever wanted to do is to be able to help other people, and I feel like I'm doing that.
I absolutely have loved talking to you, Dilly.
Thank you
so much. In your birthday week as well.
Yes, thank you.
I think we're going to sing happy
45.
birthday, don't you?
Oh God, please don't.
I've got the mic. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dilly. Happy birthday to you. It's Dilly Carter.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all for coming. It means so much.
Treat yourself or your terribly cluttered up, disorganised friend to a copy of Dilly's book. She's going to sign some copies just across the way in Waterstones. Now, if you would like to be a member of Good Housekeeping, we've got a very exciting VIP membership. If you fancy a VIP ticket to next year's show, it's included. And we did have a disaster yesterday in that we ran out of the beauty boxes that comes with the offer. I know, it's terribly sad. But luckily, we sent a van down the warehouse and we brought back a load of Harper's Bazaar and Red Magazine beauty boxes, which are actually posher than the Good Housekeeping ones. So you get one of those. It's a huge bonus. And if you'd like to become a member and be part of our community, we'd love to have you. And that's at our booth, round by Jack's Cafe. We're back at noon with Andy and Makita Oliver. Thank you very much, everybody.